Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A part of a forked or branching shape. He broke off one of the branches. Any projection that is thought to resemble a human arm. A branch of the sewer. Grow and send out branches or branch-like structures. A natural consequence of development. Divide into two or more branches so as to form a fork. A division of some larger or more complex organization. A branch of Congress. A division of a stem, or secondary stem arising from the main stem of a plant. A stream or river connected to a larger one. A part of a forked or branching shape. A prosthesis that replaces a missing leg. A section or portion of a journey or course. A cloth covering consisting of the part of a pair of trousers that covers a person's leg. A human limb. Commonly used to refer to a whole limb but technically only the part of the limb between the knee and ankle. A structure in animals that is similar to a human leg and used for locomotion. Nautical. The distance traveled by a sailing vessel on a single tack. One of the supports for a piece of furniture. The limb of an animal used for food. A part of a forked or branching shape. A development that complicates a situation. The court's decision had many unforeseen ramifications. The act of branching out or dividing into branches. An arrangement of branching parts. Any instrument or instrumentality used in fighting or hunting. Any projection that is thought to resemble a human arm. The arm of the record player. A division of some larger or more complex organization. The part of a garment that is attached at the armhole and that provides a cloth covering for the arm. Prepare oneself for a military confrontation. A human limb. Technically the part of the superior limb between the shoulder and the elbow, but commonly used to refer to the whole superior limb. Supply with arms. The U.S. armed the freedom fighters in Afghanistan. The part of an armchair or sofa that supports the elbow and forearm of a seated person. Any projection that is thought to resemble a human arm. Any of the main branches arising from the trunk or a bough of a tree. Astronomy. The circumferential edge of the apparent disk of the sun or the moon or a planet. Either of the two halves of a bow from handle to tip. The upper limb of the bow. One of the jointed appendages of an animal used for locomotion or grasping. Arm, leg, wing, flipper. The graduated arc that is attached to an instrument for measuring angles. The limb of the sextant. Grow and send out branches or branch-like structures. These plants ramify early and get to be very large. Divide into two or more branches so as to form a fork. Have or develop complicating consequences. These actions will ramify. The time at which something is supposed to begin. Make up for. His skills offset his opponent's superior strength. A natural consequence of development. Structure where a wall or building narrows abruptly. Compensate for or counterbalance. Offset deposits and withdrawals. A plate makes an inked impression on a rubber blanketed cylinder, which in turn transfers it to the paper. A compensating equivalent. A horizontal branch from the base of plant that produces new plants from buds at its tips. Cause, printed matter, to transfer or smear onto another surface. Create an offset in. Offset a wall. Produce by offset printing. Offset the conference proceedings. A natural consequence of development. A natural prolongation or projection from a part of an organism, either animal or plant. The gradual beginning or coming forth. A natural consequence of development. The region of the angle formed by the junction of two branches. They took the South Fork. Lift with a pitchfork. Pitchfork hay. Divide into two or more branches so as to form a fork. The road forks. The angle formed by the inner sides of the legs where they join the human trunk. The act of branching out or dividing into branches. An agricultural tool used for lifting or digging. Has a handle and metal prongs. Cutlery used for serving and eating food. Place under attack with one's own pieces, of two enemy pieces. Shape like a fork. She forked her fingers. Divide into two or more branches so as to form a fork. Treat differently on the basis of sex or race. Act as a barrier between. Stand between. Have the connection undone, having become separate. Arrange or order by classes or categories. Become separated into pieces or fragments. Separate into parts or portions. Discontinue an association or relation. Go different ways. The couple separated after 25 years of marriage. Force, take, or pull apart. He separated the fighting children. Divide into two or more branches so as to form a fork. Make a division or separation. Go one's own way. Move apart. The friends separated after the party. Standing apart. Not attached to or supported by anything. A house with a separate garage. Mark as different. Come apart. The two pieces that we had glued separated. A separately printed article that originally appeared in a larger publication. A garment that can be purchased separately and worn in combinations with other garments. Divide into components or constituents. Independent. Not united or joint. A problem consisting of two separate issues. Separated according to race, sex, class, or religion. Separate but equal. A self-contained part of a larger composition, written or musical. A section of a section. A part of a part, i.e., a part of something already divided. A division of some larger or more complex organization. An area composed of subdivided lots. The act of subdividing. Division of something previously divided. Vary in order to spread risk or to expand. A figure that is a part of another figure. The acoustic phenomenon that gives sound a penetrating quality. Our ukuleles have been designed to have superior sound and projection. A planned undertaking. The act of expelling or projecting or ejecting. The act of projecting out from something. Any solid convex shape that jets out from something. Any structure that branches out from a central support. A prediction made by extrapolating from past observations. Psychiatry. A defense mechanism by which your own traits and emotions are attributed to someone else. The projection of an image from a film onto a screen. The representation of a figure or solid on a plane as it would look from a particular direction. Pass into a condition gradually, take on a specific property or attribute, become. Develop and reach maturity. Undergo maturation. Come to have or undergo a change of physical features and attributes. Come into existence. Take on form or shape. Cultivate by growing, often involving improvements by means of agricultural techniques. We grow wheat here. Grow emotionally or mature. Become attached by or as if by the process of growth. The tree trunks had grown together. Become larger, greater, or bigger. Expand or gain. Cause to grow or develop. He grows vegetables in his backyard. Increase in size by natural process. Corn doesn't grow here. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. The magnetic effect was greater when the rod was lengthwise. Of a law, having legal validity. The law is still in effect. Produce. The central meaning or theme of a speech or literary work. An outward appearance. She retained that bold effect in her reproductions of the original painting. Act so as to bring into existence. Effect a change. An impression, especially one that is artificial or contrived. He just did it for effect. A symptom caused by an illness or a drug. The effects of sleep loss. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. Produce as a result or residue. Issue or terminate, in a specified way, state, etc., end. Result in tragedy. A statement that solves a problem or explains how to solve the problem. He computed the result to 4 decimal places. The semantic role of the noun phrase whose referent exists only by virtue of the activity denoted by the verb in the clause. Something that results. He listened for the results on the radio. Come about or follow as a consequence. Nothing will result from this meeting. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. His decision had depressing consequences for business. Having important effects or influence. Decisions of great consequence are made by the president himself. The outcome of an event especially as relative to an individual. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. Something that results. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. He acted very wise after the event. A special set of circumstances. In that event, the first possibility is excluded. A phenomenon located at a single point in spacetime, the fundamental observational entity in relativity theory. Something that happens at a given place and time. A phenomenon that follows and is caused by some previous phenomenon. The income or profit arising from such transactions as the sale of land or other property. Circulate or distribute or equip with. Issue a new uniform to the children. Come out of. Water issued from the hole in the wall. The act of issuing printed materials. One of a series published periodically. She found an old issue of the magazine in her dentist's waiting room. An opening that permits escape or release. The canyon had only one issue. The becoming visible. Prepare an issue for public distribution or sale. Supplies, as food or clothing or ammunition, issued by the government. The immediate descendants of a person. He died without issue. The act of providing an item for general use or for official purposes, usually in quantity. A new issue of stamps. Make out an issue. Some situation or event that is thought about. An important question that is in dispute and must be settled. The issue could be settled by requiring public education for everyone. Bring out an official document, such as a warrant. Be at variance with. Be out of line with. Extend in a different direction. The lines start to diverge here. Have no limits as a mathematical series. Move or draw apart. The two paths diverge here. A group of ships of similar type. One of the portions into which something is regarded as divided and which together constitute a whole. The BBC's engineering division. The act of dividing or partitioning. Separation by the creation of a boundary that divides or keeps apart. Discord that splits a group. A league ranked by quality. A unit of the United States Air Force usually comprising 2 or more wings. An administrative unit in government or business. An arithmetic operation that is the inverse of multiplication. The quotient of two numbers is computed. An army unit large enough to sustain combat. 2 infantry divisions were held in reserve. Biology. A group of organisms forming a subdivision of a larger category. Botany. Taxonomic unit of plants corresponding to a phylum. The act or process of dividing. Material consisting of seed coverings and small pieces of stem or leaves that have been separated from the seeds. A slender or elongated structure that supports a plant or fungus or a plant part or plant organ. A hunt for game carried on by following it stealthily or waiting in ambush. The act of following prey stealthily. A stiff or threatening gait. Follow stealthily or recur constantly and spontaneously to. Her ex-boyfriend stalked her. Go through an area in search of prey. Stalk the woods for deer. Walk stiffly. Cylinder forming a long narrow part of something. A slender or elongated structure that supports a plant or fungus or a plant part or plant organ. Stop the flow of a liquid. Stem the tide. Linguistics. The form of a word after all affixes are removed. Thematic vowels are part of the stem. A turn made in skiing. The back of one ski is forced outward and the other ski is brought parallel to it. Front part of a vessel or aircraft. Cause to point inward. Stem your skis. Grow out of, have roots in, originate in. The increase in the national debt stems from the last war. Remove the stem from. For automatic natural language processing, the words must be stemmed. The tube of a tobacco pipe. A conduit through which water flows. A natural body of running water flowing on or under the earth. Natural or artificial channel through which water flows. Something that resembles a flowing stream in moving continuously. A stream of people emptied from the terminal. A steady flow of a fluid, usually from natural causes. The raft floated downstream on the current. Rain heavily. Flow freely and abundantly. Tears streamed down her face. Dominant course, suggestive of running water, of successive events or ideas. Two streams of development run through American history. Move in large numbers. The act of flowing or streaming, continuous progression. A natural body of running water flowing on or under the earth. Exude profusely. She was streaming with sweat. To extend, wave or float outward, as if in the wind. Their manes streamed like stiff black pennants in the wind. Biology, a branching or arm-like part of an animal.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.